How to make a woman miss you. Perhaps you're hoping to reconnect with an ex-girlfriend. Maybe someone you're dating is pulling away, and you want to reignite the spark before she drifts away for good. Or perhaps you're in a relationship and want to deepen the connection by making her long for you when you're not there. In this video, I'm going to share 5 powerful strategies to make her miss you even more and set the stage for a stronger bond when you're together again. Understanding female psychology. The secret to making a woman feel a lasting connection isn't just about making her feel good. It's about guiding her through a spectrum of emotions. Women crave a blend of feelings, not just constant happiness. This includes not only pleasure, but also moments of tension, anticipation, and even discomfort. That's why many women are drawn to dramatic storylines in TV shows. The emotional ups and downs create a stimulating experience. Similarly, in relationships, women are more attracted to men who know how to engage them emotionally beyond simply offering positivity. Just like you wouldn't want to eat the same meal every day because it would eventually lose its appeal, a woman who only experiences one emotion, no matter how good, will eventually become disinterested. The key is variety, creating an emotional journey that keeps her engaged. The misconceptions. Before we dive into the main strategies, it's essential to address a common misconception. Many men have a completely misguided idea of what it takes to make a woman miss them. First and foremost, you should never position yourself as a woman's backup plan. Yet many men unknowingly fall into this trap. For example, constantly checking in with her and asking, "Hey, how's everything going?" might seem like you're keeping yourself on her radar. You might think you're making her remember you, hoping that absence will fuel her longing. But in reality, what you're doing is reinforcing your role as her fallback option. If she starts seeing you as the guy who's always there waiting in the wings, if things don't work out with someone else, she'll never take you seriously. You'll become her safety net, not the person she actively misses. Strategy 1. Be preemptive. One of the first things I tell guys I work with is to start doing things that will make a woman miss them before she ever gets the chance to. This is all about being proactive and setting the stage from the beginning, long before you're even in a situation where you want her to miss you. It's what I call a preemptive approach. Emotional time capsules. What do I mean by this? I refer to these moments as emotional time capsules. These are small, intentional actions you take during your time together that will later trigger memories of you. A simple example is our sense of smell. Smell is deeply tied to memory, so I always recommend having a signature cologne that you consistently wear around a woman. Whether it's something like Chanel, Polo, or CK, pick a scent that's distinctive but not so common that every guy wears it. When she catches that same scent somewhere else, it will unconsciously pull her back to memories of you. We've all experienced this before, smelling a certain perfume or cologne and being transported back to someone we used to know. This is one of the simplest ways to create an emotional anchor. Another effective strategy is creating inside jokes. Build a little world with her through unique references or shared moments that only the two of you understand. These emotional connections, where you get her to open up and talk about things she hasn't shared with others, will make her associate those emotions with you. When those feelings arise again, she'll think of you and feel drawn back. Strategy 2. Leave on a high note. The second important thing to remember is to always leave on a high note. This is a crucial strategy, especially if you're reconnecting with a woman who has pulled away. Whether it's an ex-girlfriend or someone you're hoping to rekindle things with, when she responds positively, whether through a text, a phone call, or agreeing to meet for coffee, many guys fall into the trap of overstaying their welcome. The key here is to leave her associating positive feelings with you. Timing is everything. It's tempting to think that the longer you stay, the more you can amplify the good vibes, but that's rarely how it works. Picture it like climbing a hill. At first, the interaction is fun, engaging, and you're building up momentum. But if you hang around too long, you'll start going down the other side of that hill, and the excitement can fade into complacency, or worse, discomfort. What often happens, especially when guys are really into a girl or caught up in emotional quicksand, is that the more time they spend together, the more likely their neediness starts creeping out. You begin saying things like, "Why can't we give this another chance?" or applying pressure in ways that undermine everything you've built. This will make her pull back and erase all the good energy you've established. The solution? Be mindful of your timing. Make it a habit to leave while things are still going well. Set a mental timer for how long you'll stay or talk, and always be the one to end the interaction, even if she's the one who reached out to you first. For example, if she texts you to ask how your day was, respond briefly, have a pleasant exchange, but then be the one to end it. This leaves her wanting more instead of feeling like she's had her fill. It's a simple but powerful move that most guys overlook, and it can make a huge difference in keeping her interested and engaged. Leave her wanting more by exiting on a high note. Strategy 3. Mystery and jealousy. The third way to make a woman miss you involves a combination of mystery and subtle jealousy. Here's where many guys go wrong, trying to be too obvious in their efforts to trigger jealousy. If you're talking to an ex and casually mention that you're going on multiple dates or seeing other women every weekend, she'll instantly see through your intentions. This comes off as emotionally manipulative, and instead of creating genuine intrigue, it signals to her that you're trying too hard. Worse, it communicates that she still has control over you, which places you in a weak position as the backup plan. The power of subtlety. The key is to be indirect. Jealousy, when done right, should be almost invisible to her, masked by an air of mystery. For example, I once tried to make an ex jealous by posting pictures of myself hanging out with girls during a vacation. I thought it was clever at the time, but it ended up backfiring. She saw right through it, and it had the opposite effect. She wasn't intrigued. She felt I was trying to manipulate her, which devalued me in her eyes. So, how do you create genuine jealousy without appearing heavy-handed? The answer lies in mystery. Let's say she's checking your social media and notices you're at a concert, but there's no indication of who you're with. Instantly, questions arise in her mind. Who is he with? Is he on a date? That ambiguity stirs curiosity and eventually jealousy. She can't figure it out, and that will keep her thinking about you. A great example comes from my friend Ken, who went to a John Legend concert with a male friend because his friend's girlfriend couldn't make it. Ken posted a photo of the concert on his social media without mentioning who he was with, and suddenly every woman he was in contact with assumed he was on a date. That's the kind of subtlety that works, creating mystery without being explicit. Similarly, when you're talking to your ex or someone you're trying to rekindle things with, mention something like, "I went skiing last weekend," but don't say who you went with. If she presses for details, just say you went with a friend. Let her imagination fill in the blanks. This creates the mystery that keeps her curious about what's really going on in your life. A simple but effective tactic is the classic appletini and beer photo. When you're at a bar or restaurant, post a picture of a beer and an appletini on the table with a caption like, "Cheers to a great night." The appletini will suggest that you're with a girl, but you don't say anything directly. This plants the idea in her mind without confirming anything, leaving her to wonder. And that's the power of mystery. By mastering this combination of subtle jealousy and mystery, you'll keep her guessing and thinking about you long after the conversation ends. Strategy 4. Create competition. Another way to make a woman miss you is to introduce competition. Now, this isn't about direct jealousy, but rather about competing for your attention and interest. When a woman believes she has complete control over your emotions, or that you're waiting around for her, she loses attraction. She instinctively knows she has power over you if she thinks you're always available, especially after pulling away or breaking up. Becoming the prize. Think about it. If you've ever broken up with someone and had the upper hand, you could feel that power. Similarly, when a woman pulls away, she assumes she has the same control over you. But if you can subtly show her that she doesn't have as much control as she thought, she will start feeling drawn back in. One way to do this is by becoming absorbed in a new interest or activity. For example, let's say she reaches out, and instead of being the guy sitting at home sulking, you're suddenly really into something new, like golf, tennis, or traveling. When she sees that your life is full and exciting without her, it creates an air of competition. She's no longer your only priority. The key is that she probably imagines you sitting at home on a Friday night, feeling sorry for yourself, and maybe even stalking her social media. That's what she's expecting. And the reality is, a lot of guys do that, which isn't attractive to her. But if she finds out that you're out having fun, maybe skiing with friends or exploring new activities, it puts her in a position where she has to compete for your attention again. When you embrace new interests and genuinely enjoy your life, she will notice. Whether through your social media posts or conversations, she'll see that you're thriving without her. She'll start to wonder, did I make a mistake by leaving him? And that's when she starts to miss you. Contrast this with the guy who's stuck in a rut, doing the same things he always did, like playing video games in his basement. That guy doesn't present any competition or challenge. He's predictable, and she knows she can always have him if she wants. But when you show growth, adventure, and passion for new pursuits, it ignites a competitive spark in her. She begins to feel that she might lose you to someone else, or to a life that's more exciting without her. Remember, women want to feel that they're with someone who has a rich, full life, not someone who's pining away in solitude. By creating competition through your interests and activities, you elevate your value in her eyes. This doesn't mean you need to flaunt other women or be overtly competitive. It's about showing that your life is dynamic and exciting, with or without her. That kind of subtle competition will make her miss you and reconsider what she might be losing. Strategy 5. Scarcity and space. The final strategy is all about creating a sense of scarcity. You've probably heard the phrase, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and there's a lot of truth to that. When you're always available, you become too predictable and your presence loses its impact. To make her miss you, you need to create space and make your time together feel special. The power of scarcity. Think about your favorite food. If you had it every day, you'd get bored of it eventually. But if you only have it once in a while, it feels like a treat. The same principle applies to relationships. When you're always around, your value diminishes because she takes your presence for granted. But when you're not always available, when she can't predict when she'll see you next, it creates a sense of anticipation and longing. One practical way to implement this is to not always respond immediately to her messages or calls. I'm not suggesting you play games or be intentionally unresponsive, but don't be constantly at her beck and call. For example, if she texts you, don't drop everything to reply instantly. Give it some time, especially if you have something important to do. This doesn't mean ignoring her, but rather showing that you have a life beyond her and that she isn't your sole focus. Another approach is to set boundaries and stick to them. If you usually spend every weekend together, take a weekend for yourself or with your friends instead. This creates a sense of scarcity. When she realizes that your time and attention are not always guaranteed, she will start to value and miss it more. Additionally, plan some activities without her and let her know about them. This subtly reinforces the idea that your world doesn't revolve around her. When she sees that you're not always available, it makes her appreciate the time you do spend together much more. She'll start to look forward to your interactions and cherish them. It's the principle of supply and demand. The less available you are, the more she'll desire your presence. This doesn't mean you should be distant or aloof all the time, but creating some space will make your time together feel more meaningful. Creating scarcity also helps to avoid the trap of over-familiarity, where she starts to see you as a routine part of her life rather than someone special. By being slightly less available and maintaining your own life and interests, you keep the relationship fresh and exciting. She'll start to miss you and look forward to the next time she gets to see or hear from you. Conclusion. By understanding and applying these 5 strategies, being preemptive, leaving on a high note, creating mystery and subtle jealousy, introducing competition, and leveraging scarcity, you can make a woman miss you deeply. Remember, the goal isn't to manipulate her emotions, but to create a dynamic and engaging relationship that keeps her interested and invested. When you master these techniques, you'll not only make her miss you, but you'll also build a stronger and more fulfilling connection.